Hello, my free thinkers and Bar9 warriors. This is Chris, and this is my channel, Bar911-970. Thank you for taking the time to check out another one of my videos. And one of my subscribers left a comment, and I forget who it was, so forgive me. If you want to mention it in the comment section, please do. But one of the questions they asked was basically talking about, if I can remember offhand, it was about martial law and who it protects. Now, you're under the assumption that when a government creates a martial law, that they're doing it to protect the people. Now, it does seem that way because they do shut down towns, they keep you indoors, and fear is a good way to control people. But if you really think about the purpose of them, for the majority of the times, martial law is a government's way to protect itself. Because if they restrict your movement, if they restrict where you can go and how long you can go there, well, just imagine if they all of a sudden put a 9 o'clock curfew where you had to be in your house by 9 o'clock, otherwise you could be arrested or shot. Well, couldn't they then have carte blanche from 9 o'clock on to pretty much do whatever they want, and it would be very difficult for people to catch them because they're stuck indoors? Now, of course, I'm not suggesting that's exactly what they do, but isn't that a potential situation? So, again, when I make videos, a lot of times it's about questioning things and thinking of things in different perspectives. So this is not about me saying what I say is absolutely has to be right. It's my perception of something that I see. But I've also realized in life, sometimes you got to see things from alternative perspectives. Because when a government does a martial law, you just naturally assume, because that's what they tell you, it's like, oh, we're doing it for your protection. And unfortunately, governments throughout history have proven their dishonesty and their inaccuracy and their greed and their quest for power. There are not many exceptions to that rule. And if there were, those leaders were murdered centuries ago, because they wouldn't want any good-hearted truth seeker to actually try and change the world for a positive way, because there is no profit in peace. I mean, there could be, but there's a heck of a lot of profit in war. Don't you have to pay soldiers? Don't they have to get resources? Don't you have to borrow money from banks? Lots of money to be made. People that make the machines of war, the clothing of war, the vehicles of war, the bullets. A lot of money to be made. And a lot of money to be lost if those services were no longer required. Just imagine all of the companies that would go out of business if all of a sudden war was obsolete. All the people who make military gear, survival gear, the, food that lasts for years, the weapons. Wouldn't be need for that stuff anymore. How many trillions of dollars would be lost? People don't think about these things, and this is what we need to think about. We need to change the concept of the thought process and not base it on what you're told. Always doing what you're told is geared for the simpleton, or the lazy, or the naive. Now, naivety can easily be changed, because naivety just means you didn't know. Well, once you know, then you can make a conscious decision. It's like being adopted, no one ever told you. Well, you're not going to search for your true parents because you didn't know they existed. But once you found out, if all of a sudden on your 18th birthday, the people who you thought were your parents came up to you and said, oh, by the way, you're adopted, as shocking and surprising, as disappointing or as sad or as angry as that makes you feel, you now have an option to go search for something you didn't know existed for 18 years. And that's the same thing when it comes to the truth. Is how are you supposed to search for something if you don't know it exists? But at the same time, why do we get angry at the wrong people? we take our frustrations out on the wrong people instead of the ones that are the ones keeping this from us and teaching us misinformation. I mean, I've asked this question before and no one's ever gotten it right. Who was the first president of the United States? Everybody picks George Washington because that's what they're told. Google who was the real first president of the United States, and I can guarantee you'll find someone's name other than George Washington. But you're not told those things. And there are time and time again. I mean, look what got us into Vietnam. What got us into Vietnam was the whole Gulf of Tonkin incident. Well, with declassified information, they've actually admitted from government declassified documents that the story never happened. They never tell you right away. For decades, they couldn't admit it. 30, 40, 50, 60 years later, what do they care? It's already been way done. How many times in our history have we seen this? Where we just, oh, sorry, we didn't do it. Last generation did it. Or that was hundreds of years ago. This is what people need to understand. So I'm going to keep this video relatively short. But make no mistake, ladies and gentlemen, if we want a better world, we have to start thinking for ourselves. We have to start digging in and seeking the information because it's out there. There is a code of ethics that they have where they have to tell you everything they're going to do before they do it. Why they do that, I don't know. But they tell you in ways that you have to search for, and it's only for the people willing to do it. The rest of you will be entertained. Just like if you read the Bible, it says in several occasions that it's written in allegory, which means it's not meant to be taken literally. But yet, how many millions of people are told by their very churches that they seek their faith in, make it seem like these are literal stories that actually happened, even though the Bible itself says it's written in allegory. So I don't understand the thought process. Other than the fact it's just easier, just like they say, ignorance is bliss. Well, not for nothing. If I am living in a house and there's an active volcano, being ignorant of the fact that it could erupt is not going to help save my life. So how blissful is that if I wake up and see my bed filled with lava and I'm about to die? Was ignorance bliss then? If you're on a date with somebody and they decided for some reason they wanted to poison your drink when you go off to go into the bathroom and you didn't know it and you drank it, was your ignorance going to save you? Was it blissful? They make you think that way, so this way you'll be those typical three monkeys. The hear no evil, the speak no evil, the see no evil. So they can do evil. There's a reason why they say it that way. They don't want you to speak about it. They don't want you to even listen to it. And they definitely don't want you to see the evil that they create. And then you're a good little monkey. My channel is all about trying to get people to think in a different way. If you appreciate that stuff, you'll share it. If not, you'll do whatever you want. You could laugh at it, you can make fun of it, you can totally dismiss it. It's totally up to you. But I encourage people to question things. There's nothing wrong with questioning things. To think about things, to research things, to not just have things handed to you. Because sometimes the people handing it to you have alternative motives for their own profit or power or control. If you want to take that chance and play Russian roulette, eventually you find the bullet. Maybe the bullet finds you. Who knows? But ignorance is definitely not bliss. It's blissful for those that make you believe that. But because everything's due to choice, it's your choice to believe whatever you want. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next vid.